Okay, so today we'll go through how to automate the manual build process with the help of the tool called Ant. Okay, Apache Ant. So let's see some introduction about the Ant, because there are multiple tools are there: Ant, Maven, Gradle and all. We'll see Maven as well. Okay, and I'll tell you the story behind why Ant came first, then why people went to the Maven, from Maven to Gradle. All these things we'll see it later. But first of all, we should understand at least one tool. Okay, so Ant is a pretty old tool. So this is a popular tool in the beginning of 2000 year and all, where most of the Java projects are automated in the Ant scripting. Okay, Ant build tool. So this is an open source one. Okay, and this is from Apache community, open source community. Okay, and this is developed even in Java. Nothing but this tool itself is developed in the Java. To see whatever the build process you are doing it for the Java projects, right? The tool itself is developed in the Java. So the prerequisite to run this tool is, if you wanted to run this tool, okay, you must and should have a Java install, of course, right? What exactly you're trying to do, whatever you do it, the job you're giving it to Ant to do it. Okay, see whether you do it or whether Ant do it, right? It needs a development kit, otherwise you cannot do it. See, without Java development kit, will you compile the code? Same thing, Ant also looks for the Java development kit. Okay, so this is mandatory. Without that, you cannot do it. Even with the Ant, Maven, Gradle, any of the tools, you must and should install JDK first. Okay, so as a manual build process having some problem for us, that's the reason we are choosing this automation process. Okay, automation with the help of these tools. So what else? Okay, so this is a XML based scripting language. Okay, when I say XML based, I hope most of you guys are aware of HTML. Guys, can you see this? This is HTML file. Okay, you can easily, I mean, if you want, you can look at it a browser as it's HTML file. Okay, so this HTML file, you look at the source code of this HTML file, view source, click on the browser. Can you see this HTML file? Typically, if anybody, IT guy, somebody, I mean, if any one of you are a computer science guy, you must and should know what do you mean by HTML file. Okay, any web page which you see it on the browser is called a HTML file, and the file starts with called HTML tag. So everything in the HTML is a tagging form. Tagging nothing but a standard tags like HTML, head, body. Okay, everything is in a tagging format, and every tag has an opening and closing. Okay, this HTML opened here, right? It should be closed somewhere at the bottom. An entire script will be written in this HTML. Okay, so similarly, just like in HTML, we have XML language as well. XML is also a language which follows the tags. Okay, tagging concept. Okay, like how the HTML tagging is there, right? Something like HTML. So similarly, XML also has tagging, like project, open and close. Okay, it can be any tag. In HTML you have to use a standard tags, but in XML it's up to any tag. Okay, defined by your language. Now let's say student. Okay, and if you clearly look at it, every opening tag will open in a less than greater than, every closing tag will close in a less than greater than, and with a slash. Okay, so this is one way of declaring. And next, name, value, sorry, ID 123. Can you see a sub element? Okay, now ID is a subset of student. Student is a subset of project. Okay, so this is how typically XML files contains. Just an example. Okay, so your Ant build tool typically follows the XML build scripting. Now your job to compile, to package, you run it, right? You have to write an XML file, okay, to perform the automation. Okay, the ultimate agenda of learning this tool is automate the build process, Java build process by writing an Ant file. Okay, Ant XML file. So if you write an Ant XML file, right, what will happen? The Ant tool is there, right? The Ant tool. Okay, so for this Ant tool, what you will do, XML file, you will give it as an input. Okay, the Ant tool will run all compile, package, okay, package run blah blah blah, everything it will do it, whatever you write it. So in this and script file, in this XML file, okay, you have to perform all these actions. So you have to you have to write the script to perform all of them, and you give this file to your ant tool, and the ant tool will run it. Okay, so while running, whatever you written in the XML file, everything it will execute it. Okay, so this is what the concept of, like, how ant works. Now next, see the installation. Okay, so let me show you the installation. Installation is pretty easy. Go to the Google, say ant download, simple keyword, and download. The first link itself is your answer. Can you see binary distributions here? Okay, come down. Can you see the archive files, zip archive? So you need to download the zip file because we are working on the Windows, right? If it is a Linux, you have to download the tar file. Download this. It's a very tiny software, hardly of 7 or 8 MB. It's a 8 MB file. Okay, is it downloaded? Apache Ant, yeah, it is there here. So just move that to your ant directory folder, guys. Yesterday you created a simple ant practice September, right? Just move it here, okay, and try to extract the content. Did I extract it, guys? This is what installation steps. Don't think like it is having something else. Okay, now get into this folder. Okay, get into the bin folder. So copy this entire path. Okay, so just copy it, and what do? You go to the my computer. Where is my computer? I don't have it here. Okay, you can go to the this PC, right click here, properties, go to advanced system settings, follow the same instructions. Okay, what I am saying, go to the environment variables. Now come down, you can find somewhere path variable. Can you see path variable here? Edit. So when you edit it, right, this is how it will open. So for Windows 7 and 8 and all, it will open in a single string box, actually, text field. So here I think I have my previous batch and should be here. Can you see this? Previous batch and path is there. Okay, D and practice. So what I will do, I'll delete this, or I can edit it, guys. Okay, I'll just copy paste the new one, the path. That's it. Okay, okay, okay. That's it. Your ant installation is done, guys. If you really want to cross check it, you can check it out. Open a new command prompt. Okay, try to type ant hyphen version. Ant hyphen version. Which version you installed? Apache 1.9.7. If you want, you can cross check in the website. Which version it is? 1.9.7. Can you see this? Right? A simple installation. I'll tell you the steps. If you want, I can copy this link as well so you can easily download it. Download Apache Ant. Okay, I put this link, right? Extract in some directory, anywhere. It's up to you. Okay. Go to the bin location. You see, once you extract it, you can see the bin location. Okay, bin folder location, bin directory location. Okay, and copy the entire path. Okay, now once you copy the entire path, right click on my computer. Okay, go to the environment variables. Okay, now click on system, edit the system variables, edit system variables. Okay, now add a new, add the copied and installation path. Okay, so a brief instructions, but if you really wanted to see, you can this is already recording it, right? You can replay it, you can see the things. This is how you complete it. And to verify the ant installation, to verify, you run a command ant hyphen version, that will give you the version. That's it. So we are done with the ant installation, and make sure guys, Java must and should be there, otherwise your ant command will not work. Okay, it will work but it will throw an error call like Java doesn't exist. Okay, so now we are done with installation. Okay, let's start working on how ant build script. How do we write the build script? Okay, how to write build script, okay, to run on ant2. Okay, so typically the build script name used to be called as a build.xml. Okay, now if you, let's try to write a new build.xml after 1.7 or more, and anything is fine. Start with 1.7, it can be 1.8 also. Okay, so first of all, take a new file, empty file. I'm trying to write a build script guys, and try to name the file as build.xml with the double quotes. What happened? Okay, there is, can you see it's a build.xml in a notepad? Now this build.xml, once it is created, okay, go to your D drive and practice September. Once it is created, try to run a command called ant wherever you create the build.xml, and it will try to access that file. Can you see this? It is reading the build file. So the ant command default looks for the build.xml and runs it, but it is failing. Okay, the reason it is, it's an empty file, it doesn't have anything, nothing is there. Okay, suppose an example, I have another file called build1.xml. okay, how do I run the build1.xml? Okay, to run a build1.xml, there is an option called ant-file. Okay, you have to provide the build1.xml explicitly. Now it is looking for, it's not looking guys, it's still looking for the build.xml. Did you not? And -f, sorry, I'm calling the build right, it should be build1.xml. Can you see it is build1.xml? Suppose if you don't provide -f, guys, which one it is taking? Did you observe this? It is default taking the build.xml. Okay, you have to provide the -f option, either -f, okay, or -file, okay, or -build file. Anything is fine, any option, all three are same. Okay, so you might be thinking, I'm confused with this, all these options. You're really confused? Then here is your help one. Can you see ant help? This ant help will give you all the options, what are all there. Okay, what options I talked about now? Use a given build file. These are the three options I talked about. See, build file, -file, -f. Use a given build file, nothing more, whatever you give it, build 1, build 2 or whatever, that it will use it. Okay, if you don't want to use your given file, if you want to run the default build.xml, you don't need to do anything. Okay, you just say ant, it will default look for the build.xml. Okay, this is what the the script naming convention which you need to follow. If you want to execute the default one, you leave it as a build.xml. If you want to execute with a different name, then you have to call with the -f. Okay, now once you start writing the code, okay, so typically the build.xml is divided into three main category stuff tags. Okay, build.xml is the default script executed if it is available in a directory where you run and command. Okay, so how to write, okay, build.xml content. Okay, now what is the content you need to write it? Okay, so typically it contains three important tags, which is the project, target, task, guys. Okay, now how they defined, I'll show you now. The project tag is defined like this: project okay. So project tag is like, a main function. If you anybody know programming language, there is something called a main class or main function. What do you mean main function is? This is what the main function where it starts. Like for HTML is the main tag, right? So from there only the entire like HTML page will be displayed. So project is something like a main tag. That's it. Okay, and this project is having some attributes. When I say attribute, if you look at this one, uh, the typical HTML file, you look at the source of it, any of the HTML, guys, can you see HTML is a tag? Yeah, kind of main function in C. Yeah, see, typically when you run a file, right, your file execution will start from the main. Okay, so that in and XML your execution starts from the project tag. That's it. So HTML is a tag, okay, but you provided a lang equal to en, nothing but language equal to en. So this is called an attribute. Okay, so typically if you look at any of this, see, division is a tag, it has a class equal to logo bar is a attribute. So similarly for a project as well, in and below XML has some attributes. Okay, so the name is nothing but what exactly your project name. I'm just giving test, you can give anything, guys. Okay, typically we give our project name. Next, default equal to. Now in the default you have to call which target you want to call. Now the target is what? Your second sub function. Target. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. So target is a second major tag in your build.xml. So what exactly target is? Target is nothing like, it's a group of tasks. Okay, you might be thinking, what do you mean by task? Then I'll talk about the task later. So if you look at this, I need to perform some activity. Guys, this is what my activity. So this is what my task. Okay, if this is what my task, right, this activity has like, 1 2 3 4, okay, 6, these many tasks are there. Okay, so individual are each and every is an action. It's an action, nothing but something you are doing it. Okay, now all together I want to run, but what I want to do, I want to group them into some groups. Okay, 1 2 3 into one group. Okay, this is G1 group. Okay, now 4 5 6 are into second group, G2 group. Okay, now this G1 G2 are part of my project. Okay, now what I'm trying to explain to you is G1 is something like one target, G2 is like another target, project is the main project. Okay, the project tag, and 1 2 3 are the actions. These are called the tasks. Okay, these are called the tasks. The actual actions which you perform are called the tasks. Okay, now target is just a group of tasks. Okay, and inside the target you can have some tasks like, echo hello, this is my first, and script, and your tag close. Echo is a task, guys, which will just print something on the console. That's, it's like a print command. Okay, now the target is also having some attributes. Okay, the target is having an attribute called name. The target must and should have a name. Let's say this is a, the target name is A. Okay, now similarly you can have a number of targets. Let me add one more target, and this target name is B. Okay, you cannot have the same name for multiple targets, guys. It should be unique. Okay, now I created B target. So now I'll explain you what is the default in the project. So any programming language will execute in a sequential order, but Ant script will not execute line by line sequential. Ant script, I mean the build.xml, will execute only in an order which you define. Okay, now if you want to execute A first, type A here in default. Now what will happen? It will come to A and it will execute A. Okay, if you want to execute B, type B in the default. So it will come to the B and B will execute it. Okay, so now if you want to execute A and B both, you cannot type A comma B here. This is wrong. Okay, you have to give only one there. Now what you can do it, So if you want to execute A and B both together, okay, I'll do one thing, guys. Let me try to complete this first. Okay, I'll try to do it with first one single target and single project, and let's try to run this. Its target name is A and default is A. Okay, let's try to run this. Whether it will execute or not, we'll see now. And because it's a default build.xml, right? Can you see, hello, this is my first Ant script. Is it reading this? See, default A, it is going to the A and executing it. Okay, suppose if I don't write the default, you know what will happen? Even the 100 lines of code you write it, nothing will execute because you didn't define anything in the default. See, nothing is executing it. Now if you define default A, target A will be executed. Now I'll show you how the other targets will be executed. Now I return another target. Okay, if you don't give different name, see, it's A, it's a wrong actually. You shouldn't do that. Suppose if you don't give different name, what will happen? Can you see this? Duplicate target. So two targets are there with the A name. You shouldn't keep that. Now keep B. Now you try to run it. So which target is running? A. Now its default checks A and A will execute. Then who will execute B? B will not be executed by default. So if you want to execute B, what you are supposed to do it? The target will be having a dependency. Depends equal to B. What do you mean by this is, first it comes to A because default is A. Now when it A, if it is alone A, it will execute it, but this is not alone. It depends on B. Okay, then it goes to B. First B will execute, then A. If you want, you can cross check it. Yes. Can you see, first B is executing, then A. Okay. Suppose tomorrow I have one more target, C. Okay. If C you write it, right, it will not execute by default. If again B and A will be executed, if you can check, B and A are only executing. Okay, it is not executing any of the C. Okay, so if you want to execute C, right, now what you can do it, either you can say B comma C. This is one way. Okay, read this, BCA. Okay, first B, then C, then A itself. Or the other way is, you come to the B. See, anyway, when you execute A, right, it goes to the B. Now when it executes in the B, right, you try to write a dependence for B as well. Okay, now say A. Now what will happen? You see, sorry, something, it's a C. It's a cyclic dependency. You can see A, B, B, A. Okay, it shouldn't be like that, right? See, C, B, A. Your order is A called A called B, B called C. C doesn't call anything. So C will first execute and B will next execute and A will next execute. So this is what the sequence of execution in the Ant. Okay, in Ant you have to define the sequence. Ant will not follow any sequence. If you don't provide any sequence, nothing will be executed. Okay, guys, if you don't define the default here, okay, if you don't define default, nothing, no execution. Okay, now if you don't define any dependencies, this one and this one, you return A, B, C targets. Which one you call A? A will only execute. B and C will be left. Okay, that's the reason you need to write the dependency. Okay, so this is how a typical basic XML file which you write it. Okay, with the help of the project and target and task. Okay, now let me tell you the rules. Okay, so every build.xml must and should contain one project only. You cannot write one more project at the below. Okay, now the next thing is, you can have one or more number of targets and the target always should be written inside the project. Okay, you cannot write outside the project. And a target doesn't contain another, you cannot keep this target inside a target should be always parallel. Okay, now a task is what? Actual action. See what exactly the action you're seeing. You're seeing actual action is the printing one. Okay, so can you see this print? So printing is an actual action. So this actions must and should be defined inside the target. You are not supposed to keep it like this. This is wrong. Okay, so your actions must and should be there inside the target. Okay, so you can have a number of actions. Doesn't mean like only one action. You can have parallel n number of actions. Now you try to run this and see. Can you see, like 3 actions? Okay, you can keep n number of actions. So this is how typical build.xml will execute it. Guys, did you understand how a build.xml is running? All of you, this is most important one, because if you understand this workflow, then only we can go further. Did you get it? How the XML file is executing it? Any questions you can ask me if you don't understand. Sunil, Hemant.
Yeah, no questions from my side.
Okay, so let's proceed further. So this is a kind of a dummy and sample XML file. Okay, now our actual intention is to automate the build process. Okay, so to automate the build process with this tasks and all, you cannot do anything actually. This is just a grouping the things and executing the things. Okay, but you should know some other tasks where, I mean, tasks nothing but actions. Okay, so some other tasks which can perform the compilation, packaging and all. So now the entire ant scripting is all about learning tasks. Target is done, that's it. Okay, target is a group of tasks together. Okay, that's it. Project is a main tag of build.xml. Okay, now task is an actual action which is performed. This is what the definitions for these three things. Okay, so you might be thinking, if it's a task, right, why didn't I write the task here? Why I write the echo? See, task is not one, guys. Tasks are many. I'm just using a generic word called task. Okay, but you can find n number of tasks. So now your entire ant scripting is all about learning tasks. Okay, so these tasks are defined into different categories. So file system tasks, Java related tasks. Okay, next, properties, advanced tasks, web project tasks, external tasks. Okay, so these are all the categories, guys. If you could, and each and every category have the task name. Now in under file system, what are all the tasks available? So typically file system tasks nothing but nothing. See what all the operations you do with the file system. Okay, create, copy, delete, rename, okay, move, right, these kind of things. So mkdir for creating a directory. Okay, now copying a file, copying a directory. Okay, now moving nothing but cut paste, right, mkdir copy and delete. So can anybody tell me, apart from this, what else you do it in a file system with either file or directory? Doesn't matter. Okay, now let's see all these actions with respect to file system. Okay, so let me take up a new file. I'll not disturb this file, guys. I'll pick up a new file. So let me try to write this file name as build underscore file.xml. Okay, so every build.xml must and should contain at least one project, at least one target. Without that, you cannot write anything. Okay, so that's the reason I just copy pasted from there itself. Now let me try to write something over here. This is file system task execution. Okay, no dependency, only one time. Now I'll try to write the task for creating a directory. So what is for the creating a directory? Mkdir, this is how you write it, mkdir, and it is having an attribute. The attribute name is build. You try to create a build directory and see whether it is creates or not. So before creating it, you already have a build directory, delete it. Okay, now there is no build directory here. Can you see this? Now you go back to your this one, right? So you just created you added one task called mkdir build. Now the build directory will be created automatically over here. If you want, you can run this. Ant minus f. I told you, if you want to run some other file, you have to use a -f and file name. Okay, if it is the default build.xml, then you want to provide this. Something wrong, guys? Something is missing. Project target. What is missing? Okay, project I didn't close. Nobody telling me this. Slash. Okay, if you want to close, you have to put the slash. Okay, the directory has been created. If you want, you can cross check. Can you see build directory, empty directory created? Okay, now I'm deleting it, guys. Now this time I want to create a chain of directories. Okay, build classes, nothing but build directory, inside that classes directory. There is not even a single directory there. Now you cross check. Can you see build directory created and classes directory? So you can create a chain of directories at a time. So that's what the specialty of the mkdir. Simple command. Okay, fine. Well, let's go to the next command, which is copy command. Okay, so copy is just pretty simple command. Again, in a copyright we have a different varieties in copy. Okay, so one is file to file copy. Okay, one is file to directory, one is directory to directory. So these many ways of copy is available. Okay, so let's try to perform them. So before performing copy, I wanted to comment out this. Okay, so this is what the XML or HTML commenting. You have to put less than exclamation hyphen hyphen, and wherever you want to end hyphen hyphen greater than. Okay, so this is called commenting. Commenting nothing but nothing will be executed. This line will be ignored. Now, copy syntax is having source and destination files, file and to file. That's it. Now you need to provide what file you want to copy. So let's see, do you have any file? Yeah, my manifest is there, a file. Okay, this is my manifest. Let me type it as a u manifest. Okay, some file. Okay, now my manifest will be copied as a u manifest. If you want, there is no u manifest here. Okay, now you try to run it and see. Guys, can you see u manifest is created? It's just a copy paste there itself. Okay, this is file to file. Okay, now similarly, let me do one more copy. Okay, now this is file to directory. So if it is a directory, right, you should give two directory. And where do you want to copy? I want to copy into the build directory. Right, now build is a directory available here. Do you have any file here? No. Now I'm trying to copy it now. Can you see now? Build directory have a my manifest file. Okay, so that's what the file to directory. Now the third thing is directory to directory. So directory to directory is little different. Okay, it's not that different. So you will be expanding into a subtag actually. As of now, you didn't use the copy as a subtag. Now you are using it as a subtag. Now this contains file name equal to source. This is what the see, I wanted to copy the contents of source folder. Suppose, assume like, guys, this source folder is having, apart from hello.java, it is having all these files. Okay, so it is having a directory as well. Think about like, ABC directory. So this entire source folder content, the entire content, I want to copy it into build directory here. Okay, let me clean up this build directory. So I want to copy it here. So let's see whether this will copy or not. So file set, I think it is file set, name equal to src, and just copy to where? Build directory. So you have to provide the build directory path. Now let's try to run this. It's not file set, guys. File set directory. Okay, file set directory, dir. That's it. It's copied everything. Can you see this entire src content copied to build? If you want to cross check, you can check it out. Can you see build directory contains all this content, src content? If you want, you can delete it and you can try it out whether it is really copying it or not. See this? It appears. So your ant task is copying your things, whatever you define in the build.xml. Okay, with the help of the copy task. So these are the ways you can copy it. There is one more way is there. Okay, selective copy. Selective copy, nothing but somebody asks a question. Could you please copy only the from src folder only the Java file to the remote other directory? So how do you do that? You press control and you control C, control V, right? So your specific selective files you are copying it. Okay, assume like, here I have two Java files, hello.java, hi.java, hello.java. Remaining I don't want it. So if you want to do a selective copy, right, this is how you need to do it. I'm not deleting it. So what I will do it, I'll just comment out the rest of stuff. Okay, I just commented all those lines. Whatever in the green color is commented. Now file set, what you are supposed to do it. File set will be having another subtag. Okay, this says includes, okay, name equal to, now star.java. What do you mean by this? Is I wanted to include all the files which ends with Java. Star nothing but The file name can be anything, doesn't matter. Okay, so I wanted to copy all of them. Now let's see whether it will copies all of them or not. Okay, so before copying, I want to delete the existing content of the build. Okay, okay guys, spelling mistake, it's not includes, it's include. Okay, now can you see this? Only Java files copied it is. Okay, so this is how it works actually. This is what the copy, about the copy thing. Okay, now let me talk something about the moving. Okay, moving nothing but cut paste. Copy paste will keep the source files as it is, but cut paste will delete the source files. So moving is absolutely same as copy. So syntax is same. If you know how to move a file to a directory, right, you just take this copy syntax and put it here. Instead of copy, you keep it as a move. Okay, now look at this guys. In a move, right now you have my manifest here, it will be moved into build directory, so it should delete in the current directory. So let's see whether it's deleting it or not. That's it. Is it deleted here? No more manifest file, my manifest, it is there here. So that's what the move. So rest of all these are works pretty much same as uh, copy only. Okay, so you see everywhere you replace it with the move, that's it, it will move it. It's a copy paste cut paste, that's it. So no point in explaining each and everything again, so you can just try it out guys, rest of all. Okay, next, the last tag is a delete tag. See, create is done, copy is done, okay, cut paste is done, and is the deletion. So I wanted to delete a directory, so delete a file first. Okay, so file equal to what file you want to delete. I wanted to delete this u manifest, this file. So just keep this file over here and try to run now. That's it, delete it. If you want to cross check, there is no u manifest file. So that's how you delete a file. Now if you want to delete a directory, a simple change you need to make it out. Instead of a file, it should be direct. Okay, so I want to delete the build directory. Do you have a build directory over here? Build directory is there. Okay, let's try to run this. It will remove the build directory. Can you see deleted and no more build directory? Okay, so this is how we work with the file system task. Okay, now the first category of tasks we are done guys. Any questions with the file system task? How I performed it? Even eco is also kind of file system task. It's just prints, nothing else. Okay, any questions with the file system task? Sunil is there? Hemant, Praveen?
Yeah, no doubts from my side.
I think this guy's left for some reason. What happened? Okay guys, so do you have any questions? Praveen, Hemant, what did you get?
No questions.
Okay. So let's move on to the next category of task, which is Java task. Okay. So we have the task called Java C for compilation, Java for packaging, and Java for running the files. Okay. So three tasks available in the Java. So we have to use these three tasks to compile the package and execute the typical standalone Java applications. So let me try to create a new build script. Okay. Right. So let me call this as a Java task. Let me call this as a compile. The task name, I'm just giving it as a compile to make it sense. So let me save this file first. So build underscore java.xml. Right. So this is a kind of a template, guys. Okay. So whichever the XML you write it, you should have minimum project, minimum target, and minimum task. Okay. Now let's try to compile the code. Okay. So to compile the code, we have a task called javac. Okay. And you have to provide srcdir, which is a source directory. Where is your source code? And next dest.dir. What do you mean by this is where do you wanted to copy the class files? Okay, that's what, right? The compiler needs a source code and the output will be binary file. So where do you want to copy the binary files? Okay, the Java binary file is a dot class file, the source file is a dot Java file. So let's see where is our source code. Our source code is inside the src folder. Let me delete all these other files, guys. Okay, now my source code inside the src. Let's try to write src over here. And the destination is what? Where do you want to copy your class files? I want to copy into the build classes folder. But do you have build classes folder? You have to create it manually. Instead of creating it manually, you can make use of your prior knowledge, which is the mkdir task to create the build classes directory. Okay, so try to make use of build classes. Okay, now this build classes you put over here. Okay, now let's try to run and see whether really compiling it or not. Target f doesn't exist. Where is the f? Okay, sorry, I need to provide hyphen here. Yeah, so it is successfully compiled, guys. It took 2 seconds to do it, and you know what, it is created the build classes directory, and inside this you can see the compiled file. Okay, so successful. It's so simple, right, compared to the command line. So you can just perform on the fly. This is what the javac task, which compiles your source code in a given directory, and output will be copied into the output files will be copied into the destination directory. You can give any directory, but I'm just giving this directory, and this directory, if it doesn't exist, you can create that as well. Okay, so this is what the compile. Now next, packaging. As part of the build process, right, we have to do the compilation, packaging, and execution. Okay, so how to package it? So packaging can be, the task can be written here, but instead of that, let's try to write a different target. Let's separate that part from the compile, because I said compile, right? So let's keep only compile task there. So for packaging, we'll try to write a new target. Okay, I'm just copy pasting it, but I'll try to change the content. Package the build classes directory. Okay, now try to create a jar folder, because now I'm going to create a task called jar. Okay, this requires source. What is the source for packaging tool? Based here, the source is these dot class files. Okay, these will be the source. So try to provide these as a source based here, and dest file is going to be a destination. Where do you want to create your jar file, which is your zip file? Okay, your package file. I wanted to create in hello build jar and with the hello world.jar. Okay, right? So this is how you create it. But the thing is, the jar which you create right now will be a non-executable jar. Okay, it will create a jar, but the thing is, it will not execute it. But let's see whether it will really execute or not. Now the target name is package. Okay, if you try to run your script, it will not run the package, it will run always compile only, because there is no reference to it. So you try to call package from the default, so the package will be called. Now package is called. Okay, now you look at it, go to the build directory, and we are creating the jar directory, right? So you can look at the jar. Can you see jar? And can you see hello world jar? The jar file has been successfully created. Okay, so once the jar file is created, the next thing is, if you look at the list of command, the third command is third task is to run the your given jar file. Okay, how to run it? So for running it, I'll try to create completely separate target. Okay, run the jar file. To run, you want to create any directory. Okay, now to run it right, you have a task called java, and attribute name is jar equal to. Okay, that's it. So there is one more attribute is there, guys, fork equal to true. This is mandatory, this ant is asking you to put it actually. Okay, so put this and try to run out the run target. Now go to the default and try to run this. It is executed, but it is throwing an error called no main manifest. So if you remember yesterday's session, we get this file, manifest file is not there, so we need to create a manifest file. So you know to explicitly create a manifest file, the jar task is having a subtask like this, like how you have a copy as a subtask. Similarly, this is having a subtask called manifest. Okay, manifest, and you need to provide the attribute name and its value. So what is the name is, you can find in the yesterday's manifest file. Do we have any manifest file here? We deleted everything, right? So you look at this documentation, this guys. Yesterday he created a manifest file, right? So main class is what, your name, and your main class name is hello world. That's it. Okay, now you try to package. See, you have to repackage it again, because right now you have older one. Okay, so let's make this chain, guys. Chain nothing but, let's have a dependency. This depends on package, and package depends on compile. Okay, let's see. Can you see this hello world now? All three targets executed. Okay, how much time took it? Not even a second, guys. Okay, now if you want to perform a clean build, I don't believe it whether it is build or not, I want to delete this every time. So if you want to delete that every time, what you can do it in compile target itself. Okay, you try to delete the existing directory, delete dir, so that every time it creates a new directory, right? Now you try to run this. Now this is a clean build. See, every time it is creating yourself. Now this time it took little more time because it is creating from the scratch again. So 1 second it took it. Okay. So every time it will take 1 second at least, because every time it is cleaning up. So now within 1 second you finished your compilation, packaging, and execution. Okay. So guys, if I ask you to do with this command, will you able to do it within 1 second or 2 seconds? Okay. Yesterday's commands, if you remember, Java, Java C, and all. Okay. So that's called, I mean, this is called automation, guys. Okay. Now we could able to successfully automate a simple hello world program, okay, with the help of the Ant file system task as well as a Java related task. Okay, so this is all about a basic automation and a basic Ant scripting. So if you understand this, then I would say 50% of Ant you understand. Now this entire XML file you should be able to understand, guys. It's pretty simple one. Okay, if you really like, look into line by line and what I explained. Okay, so any questions with this XML file, both of you? Any questions? Did you understand this XML file, how I written?
And we have to use that fork is equal to true is only on
Only on a Java
target run area.
Java task. That's it. When you're running a jar file, see, I'll show you that as well. So let's try to remove this and run it and see whether it will run or not. Okay. The ant itself will tell you the error. Can you see this? The last message. Please set fork equal to true. Did you see output? Cannot execute a
Yes,
jar
yes.
in non-fork mode. Please set fork equal to true. That's what I did. Okay. Now once you set that, it executes fine. Okay.
Okay, okay.
So that's about the basic task as well as Java task. Okay, so we'll catch up tomorrow and we'll try to cover the rest of properties, advanced tasks, and web project tasks, external tasks, all of them. Okay, so let's catch up tomorrow, guys. So I'm just closing up for today. Okay, so I'll send you these notes as well as some documentation. You can look into it. Okay, see you guys. See you tomorrow.